Hey guys, it's Gabe here. I just wanted to let you know that if the audio sounds a bit choppy in places, it's because our software cut out some of what we were saying. So if it sounds weird, it's not a problem with your phone or computer, wherever you're listening to this. That's just a technical problem on our end, so I do apologize, but hopefully it won't be too much of a problem. And yeah, enjoy the episode. We're really happy to bring you the very first episode of every Marvel movie ever. Hi everybody, welcome to Every Marvel Movie Ever, where we talk about every Marvel movie ever. I am your host, Gabe Thomas, and with me is my co-host, Francisco Alcala. How are you doing today, sir?
I don't know, this is gonna be an interesting time.
Are you mad that I made you watch this?
A little, but at the same time, I'm glad that I watched it because it's a movie.
It's a movie.
Is
it? I don't know. I'd seen it before, but I watched it over the course of several days in my first period class instead of doing my work. So I wasn't paying that much attention, but I have 18 pages of notes now, so I've paid attention, and I have some trivia.
Oh no.
I have some trivia. So this isn't like, in America, this was not a theatrically released film, surprisingly. Well, it's not surprising, but it was a made for TV movie by CBS, and it led to a TV show that lasted 14 episodes. And Stanley hated the show because he said it was too juvenile.
Yeah, that makes sense. Did you watch the movie?
I guess so, but like, has he read the Spider-Man comics that he wrote? Because it's not like he's like cracking skulls or anything.
Yeah, but at the same time, it doesn't feel completely like Spider-Man.
No, it feels, I don't know what it is, but it's like, I guess there's not like a bunch of kung fu masters in a lot of Spider-Man comics then, but we got that in this. It was theatrical like pretty much everywhere overseas, but not in America. So like this was in theaters for a while.
Do you know how much money it made?
It made I was gonna say $9,000. $9 million.
Jesus
but
Christ.
Maybe that's adjusted for inflation.
It probably is.
But like, I think the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie made $700 million or something.
Okay.
So comparatively,
what was the budget for this?
I don't know. I couldn't find it. They wouldn't give it to me. I had to go to the director's house and ask, and he wouldn't tell me. But so I thought that Peter Parker in this looked like he was like 40 years old. He was only 27.
Really?
Yeah.
He looked so old. It was weird. I couldn't tell how old he was.
I think early on I was like, this is a 40-year-old Peter Parker. And then I looked it up, and he was only born in 1950, and this was 77. So he's only 27 years old.
That's weird. Why?
I don't know. But he also played Frederick in The Sound of Music, so like he's in actual movies.
He's an actual actor.
Yeah, he's an actual actor. And you know the new Tarantino movie coming out, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood? He's in that.
Are you serious?
Nicholas Hammond is in that fucking movie. It's on his Wikipedia
Oh my god.
page. So I guess we'll have to see that. See what happens. Oh, okay. The only characters who are from the comics in this movie are Peter Parker, Aunt May, Robbie Robertson, and J. Jonah Jameson. That's it. There's 4.
I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, nobody else.
I think I might have noticed it. I just thought it was like really weird. There weren't that many I thought it was just me not knowing characters.
No, these are new people, and like you can tell because they're fucking boring.
Yeah.
But everyone else is new. And like, so no Doc Ock or Green Goblin or anything. And okay, so you know those horrible wall crawling sequences?
Oh no.
Yeah, well, I thought that they were just walking on the floor. No, that's actually people walking on the ceiling. They have wires. They're walking on the ceiling.
Okay, well,
so
on some of them, I don't know if like CGI was around. It probably wasn't.
No.
It looked really bad.
Well,
it looked like really bad
it's
CGI.
That's
even
green
though CGI,
screen. It's green screen. Yeah,
there we go.
Exactly.
Either way, it looked really bad.
I think the sequence that we're both probably thinking about is when he first does it and he's walking around his house. Because that I'm pretty positive that can't be real. But whenever he's walking on the ceiling, like one of my favorite moments is when these three guys run, the three kung fu master guys with the bamboo sticks run in, and he does like a jump to the ceiling, crawls over them, and then lands behind them.
I just like that they watch him do it.
Yeah, and
they don't
like,
even. Yeah.
I mean, they don't have guns.
Yeah, but they have bamboo sticks.
They have sticks. Yeah, you stab them. Yeah. So there's technically 2 sequels to this. There's Spider-Man Strikes Back and The Dragon's Challenge. But don't worry, we're not going to watch them because these are just like, since it was a TV show, they just took like a 2-parter and then released it theatrically overseas, like 2 episodes and then put them together. So we're not watching those because I kind of enjoyed this, but I don't want to talk about The Dragon's Challenge.
Does it have more Kung Fu Masters in it?
It has to. It has to. No, it was probably in New York. The dragon is probably some white guy who makes you kill yourself. Oh, wait. That's a different movie.
That's this movie.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and obviously it's never explained where Peter's costumes or his webs come from. Yeah. He just has it.
He just has it.
I thought it was a joke when he was like, oh, he wears a costume to J. Jonah Jameson. And then he just has it. He just goes home and he has it.
Yeah.
I thought that... I don't know.
That was weird. That was really, really weird.
It was so quick. And in the Raimi movies, well, actually, in all 3 of the real Spider-Man movies, the Tobey Maguire, Garfield, and Holland ones, they all have... on IMDb, it says at a point he walks into Bruce Banner's laboratory.
That would be weird.
That would be weird. I don't remember that ever happening. And, this is the first live-action appearance of Spider-Man, except on The Electric Company, where he'll make little... There'll be like little shorts with Spider. Have you seen them?
I have.
Spider-Man shorts.
Not.
They are hilarious. They're so fucking funny, and I think everyone should look up the Spider-Man Electric Company shorts on YouTube because they're hilarious. And I watched a bunch of them this morning. And so in 1977, this was the best performing property for CBS.
Are you
somehow
fucking kidding me?
What was probably one of the 3 TV networks at the time was. Fucking, this was number 1.
I mean, I guess they didn't have much competition.
No, probably not. But it's funny that everyone tuned in to watch Spider-Man, and that's what led to the show being made. And that's all the trivia I think I have. So I guess we're gonna have to talk about the movie now.
Oh boy.
So yeah, it starts, and this credit sequence is amazing because it's a picture of a spider web. And then it's the name of the cast and crew member in the upper left-hand corner. And then it's like a box that takes up a 1/6 of the screen with like Spider-Man climbing a wall in it.
For reference, think of if you've ever seen a TV show on YouTube or something, and there's the background and this little like box.
That's exactly what it is.
That's exactly what the credits are.
The big picture's like the picture of the DVD, and then it'll have the tiny box.
Or it's like just like those like Windows screensavers that's just like a galaxy background.
Yeah, that's it, exactly. And then
some just like 2 things I want to say about that.
Mm-hmm.
One, it looks so bad. Like you can already see that the wall crawling. It's not great.
It's literally the first thing that they show us, and it's horrible.
It literally looks like he's walking around on the floor. And 2, the entire time, it's just Spider-Man wandering around a wall, looking through people's windows.
Yeah, he's such a creeper.
It's really... And it's like they wanted him to be an actual spider.
Yeah, and later, I think they talk about that, and he's like, no, he's a man. I don't know when because there's that era in the comics when he had like the 6 arms. But
really?
Yeah. At some point, there's some potions or science shit. I don't remember.
Course.
But I think Morbius has something to do with it. Anyway, point is, he has like 2 other arms, so he has the 8 limbs. And I think that I think that was after this, but like, because when they're talking about like, oh, is he a spider? That's what I imagine. And like, what if he did grow the other 2 arms on the show? That'd be horrifying.
God, that scene was so drawn out. It was like 5 minutes of them arguing what Spider-Man is.
Yeah.
No, he doesn't have 8 legs. He has 2. He's a man.
Yeah, he's a man.
But he's a spider.
Yeah. But he's a spider. He can shoot web. And when they say, oh, we should probably get to this later, but I just want to say it now so I don't forget. When he's like, oh no, we can shoot webs. The only thing he's done at that we've seen him do at that point is climb the wall. He's never shot a web.
He doesn't even have the web shooters.
No,
he makes them later.
He makes them later.
So he can't shoot webs.
So I don't think he can shoot them organically because like most Spider-Man can't. I can think
Yeah.
of, there's one Spider-Man who can, obviously, and it's Tobey. But other than that, so what the fuck?
Yeah, so, like, if he could shoot webs before, then why'd he make the web shooters?
I don't know.
Like,
I don't know. Or maybe it was like an editing problem and that scene was supposed to come before and he put the scene after so that it doesn't make sense. Like it should have been him getting the suit and making the web shooters and then he talks to JJ, but they switched it and so they fucked it up.
Who knows?
Yeah, and then hard cut from the credits to more credits over like just New York City stock footage where it's just like cars and it zooms into a building and that building is a doctor's office. There's like this, I thought it was an alarm clock, but I learned this is just the hypnotism sound, and it's like, you know, like when you put a disc in your PlayStation and then
That's
like it's
what I was
spinning around
thinking.
like and then it like a disc that it doesn't like or something.
It was just it was just a really weird noise.
Yeah, that's the sound.
And I want to say that whoever did the sound design for this movie needs to be fired.
There's so much hilarious
so many
stuff. All of the hypnotism stuff.
Yeah, it's like,
there's so much weird.
Like those and like the robberies, weird like laser sounds
Yeah,
behind
that's
them,
true.
and it makes no
it's
sense.
Like Star Wars, which is this is the same year as Star Wars. And also, I want to say, even though we haven't met Peter Parker yet, Peter Parker in this gives me serious Luke Skywalker vibe. The way he talks, like he's like that whiny. He's like, but I want to go to the Daily Bugle to take pictures. Anyway, so the guy. the weird PS4 sound goes off while this guy's getting a checkup. So the doctor just leaves, and he puts on like a coat, and he puts on a coat, and it has like a weird pin on it, like weird like exterior angles. Like
I really couldn't tell what was supposed to be on the pin.
It's like.
It was just like random black lines.
Yeah, it's like one line to the upper left and then one line to the lower right. It looks really weird. And then anyway, so he just leaves and the guy's freaking. The patient's like, "What the fuck? Why'd you leave?" And he's carrying this thing that looks like the system unit of a desktop computer, like, and it's strapped to his wrist. And he's just like, "Doctor." So I guess that I don't know if that's just what '70s medical technology was like.
I hope not.
Yeah, I mean, I guess that's why the death rate was probably high. And then we hear that. We cut to a courtroom, and we hear the same sound, the same PS4 sound, and there's this lawyer who looks like Leslie Nielsen from Naked Gun, and he just walks out of the courtroom, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? Because I've forgotten everything about this movie.
And I thought it was like really random that while that sound was going off, they just zoomed in on the clock in there.
Yes, I was gonna say, and that's
but it has nothing to do with it.
And that's why I thought at the start in the doctor's office it was an alarm clock, because they do the same thing. Like you see the number switch on the alarm clock, and then that sound happens. So I thought, and then they zoomed in on that clock, and I'm like, what the fuck? What am I supposed to be taking from this? And then the lawyer's in a car, and we see him put a gun, a tear gas grenade, and a gas mask into a briefcase, and he clearly, like, this stuff won't fit. Like, they cut, but he's clearly, when he closes the briefcase, like, he can't get it closed, but they just cut. And then he goes into the bank, and then we see the driver of the car is the doctor, and so we're like, what the fuck is this?
Weird laser noises.
Oh, and then weird laser noise, and then we see the pin again with the weird lines. And then the lawyer walks out of the bank with the gas mask on, and there's like a fog machine that's just supposed to be the smoke just pumping. And then they get in the car, and they just like very, very slowly crash into a wall.
Yeah, it's like the world's slowest car crash.
And I think it's why it's so slow. I think it's probably because the stunt driver didn't hurt himself. But.
I guess, but there had to be something they could have done to make it at least a little more convincing.
And I thought they were killed, but later it says they're all in comas.
Wait, really?
Yeah. So that kind of takes
away I
from...
do remember that.
So that confused me, because I thought these were people he was making kill themselves. And then...
Well, that's what it becomes later.
Yeah, eventually.
So, like, it eventually just becomes them killing themselves. So, like, why are they in the coma? Why are they in comas?
Why would he put people in comas? Two weird guys show up. They take the pins off the doctor and the lawyer, and then they just take the money that they stole from the bank, and they run away. They do a little scuttle. They do a little scuttle out of there.
At first, I didn't know why they were there. I thought they were just, like, homeless people, and then they started robbing them, and I was like, what is going on?
What is this?
Is this Spider-Man?
That's Spider-Man. And then hard cut to the Daily Bugle, where Peter Parker, I said, looks about 40, but as we learned, he's 27. And yeah, that I thought that was so weird, I just paused it and looked that up immediately, because I was like, how old is he? Other than the latest Spider-Man actor, they have a tendency to be very old.
Yeah,
much older
a little.
Oh, this one's in university. So I guess if he got a late start, he could be in university at 27, I guess. he took a few gap years.
It'd be a little weird. All right.
But, it's kind of creepy. But he's trying to sell Jonah some landscape shots. But Jonah says that they're too fancy and artistic for his newspaper.
Which is really weird.
Wouldn't you want in your newspaper of the city when you want some shots of the city?
Yeah, isn't like the more professional your pictures are, the better?
Yeah.
You're not gonna turn down good pictures.
Too fancy. Robbie comes in, the third of the actual comic book characters comes in, and he's like, oh, there was just a message on every TV in town. We can't show it to you, but it was there. It said that a lawyer and a doctor teamed up to rob a bank. What I thought was weird about this is after Robbie says that, then the TV turns on, and then the newscaster says that this is one of the strangest crimes in the history of the city, in New York City.
There's a lot of weird shit that happens in New York City.
It's not Florida, but
it's close.
It's New York City. I mean, like, it's the fucking biggest, busiest city, most angry city in the world.
Especially in the 70s.
In the 70s, where everyone's high.
Who knows what the fuck's happening there?
Yeah, I don't...
And I think... in that scene, there was a little bit of, like, a scripting issue, because I think they explain that, like, there's, like, a ransom for $2 million, and they also robbed a bank, but then they ask, what do they want? Money. Yeah,
they want money.
They robbed a bank, and they asked for a ransom.
Like, what
else do they want?
Yeah, I know, it's an oxymoron. It's just, that's repetition. Fucking double speak on the news. Yeah, he says that if they don't get the money, 10 people have been programmed to destroy themselves. Not kill themselves, destroy. And I was like, oh, can you not say kill yourself on television? But later they just say it like 100 times. So I don't know why they said destroy. I don't know who talks like that. Yeah, then the extortionist guy who, he takes responsibility for the bank robbery. So it's like, why did it matter that the doctor and lawyer did it if he's just gonna say it was him anyway? And then the newscaster... Oh, yeah, the newscaster is like, we now return to our regularly scheduled program. And we see like 3 seconds of some really weird martial arts movie on the TV for like a split second. It's just like some guy getting kicked in the head, and then he turns it off.
I'm just gonna guess that it's them reusing the footage of Spider-Man fighting the martial arts guy.
It might be those guys.
Because they reuse so much footage in this movie.
Yes, they do.
There's so many reused shots.
There's a 1-minute sequence later on where he's just remembering things that happened over the course of the day.
He's like sleeping, and he just remembers like the past like 20 minutes of the movie again.
That scene. And then Robbie and J. Jonah Jameson argue about whether or not the story, which is apparently the craziest crime in all of New York City, should be on the news, should be in the Bugle that day. And
doesn't J. Jonah say that it's already in all of the other newspapers, so he doesn't want it in his?
We don't need it. I'm just like, that's bad competition. Like, because you're trying to beat the other newspapers, just not having the stories they do. That's worse. It's like, oh, who wants the newspaper with the least amount of information? And that won't take artistic pictures either.
Like, this sounds like the worst published newspaper ever.
Yeah, well, it is. It's basically, I think in the new comics right now, it's a tabloid. like it's literally a tabloid magazine, which makes a lot more sense. Yeah, and Jonah's like, it's a hoax, but he has no reason to believe that.
Yeah.
So, no one has mentioned mind control technology, but all of a sudden Peter opens his mouth and says that people have been doing experiments and that mind control technology is real.
But how would he know?
How would he know? Is he involved in these studies?
He has no way of knowing about that.
No, and this is weird because he talks about like studies in technology, and then literally the next scene is him in a lab because he's a scientist, and I'm like, is he the one doing the studies? Is that what he's talking about? But no, he's not. He's just fucking around with radiation.
Yeah, like...
which... a really weird scene.
Radiation really has nothing to do with fucking mind control.
Yeah, no, it doesn't at all. Was the point he's in science so he knows what the scientific discoveries are?
It's either that or they just wanted to make him seem smart.
Yeah, but like you don't need to say that if the next scene is gonna be showing that he's smart.
Yeah.
Like I think that this movie, for what it is, kind of sets up the character of Peter Parker pretty well in the way that we see him working for the newspaper, and then we see him doing his science stuff. It's like, okay, so he's a scientist and he is a freelance photographer. But when you inject this weird fucking line about how people have been doing experiments on mind control,
and then later in the movie he tells the police that too.
Yeah,
like he had just figured it out.
Yeah, he's like, oh wait, I know that he says something weird. He just says radio in front of something. Like, yeah, he says like radioactive signals are.
Or no, he says they're microwaves.
Yeah, microwave signals or whatever. He's like, it's the microwaves. Then, this is my favorite scene, probably in the whole movie, is in the lab when we meet a fellow scientist, Peter Parker, who's wearing a Captain America shirt.
Okay, I really couldn't tell if that was just a shirt with a star, but I was really hoping it was a Captain America shirt.
And then when I was on IMDb looking at the trivia, it said he's wearing a Captain America shirt also, so I was like, that might just be what that is.
Which, like, this is, if the thing about it being Bruce Banner's lab is really, that, like, if that's true, that's really weird.
This is the original Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I guess. They're in Bruce Banner's lab.
They're in Bruce Banner's lab, and, like...
the guy in the Captain America shirt is talking to Spider-Man.
Yeah, Captain America... Like, he probably has that shirt because Captain America was a war hero in World War II. So, if Captain America exists, then what the fuck?
Then, like, does everybody else exist?
I don't know. Yeah, is there, like, a universe and nobody does... Like, most of the heroes that are stationed in New York don't do anything about the craziest crime. Yeah, he's wearing a Captain America shirt under a lab coat. I don't know if you can just wear a t-shirt under your lab coat when you're dealing with radiation, but I don't know.
I think maybe that's not such a good idea, but
whatever.
Do whatever you want.
This guy's clearly an idiot, but I love him. And the reason I love his friend is because Peter's like, do you believe in mind control? And he tells him that about the extortionists is going to make all these people kill themselves. And so the friend says, why didn't I think of that?
I know!
So I was like, what the fuck? I love this guy. Like, he's the only one in this whole movie who makes jokes.
And Spider-Man, he doesn't make a single joke.
Spider-Man's so... I don't know what Stanley... I mean, God bless him. Rest in peace, Stanley. I love you. But too juvenile. He doesn't make any jokes. Like...
Yeah, and when he's Spider-Man, like, throughout the entire movie, most of the time he doesn't say anything.
No, he doesn't.
He doesn't start talking until, like, the last... probably like 20 minutes of the movie.
I bet it's because he couldn't say anything through the mask. Like literally, because it would probably be all... Like that bit in Deadpool when his voice is all muffled because he has the ski mask on. Like, it probably was like that. One of the big things, just do it in post. Do voiceover. Like,
yeah,
it's not like...
That's probably what they did when he started talking at the end of the movie.
They did, yeah, exactly. So just go back. And when he's talking at the end of the movie, he doesn't make any jokes.
Yeah, he's like really weirdly... Like, this movie
I don't even remember what he says.
I feel like the movie takes itself a little bit too seriously.
Yeah, but like, that's why this whole scene is so great, because it doesn't do that.
It's like the one funny part of the movie.
Yeah.
When it's a Spider-Man movie, so it should at least try to be a little funny.
I kind of like... Well, I don't mind Jonah in this. Sometimes he says something funny. I think there's some stuff later that's pretty funny with Jonah. I think the police captain has a few lines, but, like, it's so fucking... It's like a DCEU movie. Like, there's, like, three jokes in the whole thing.
It's really weird.
And two of them are from this guy. Yeah, the next one is, this is so weird. This delivery guy shows up looking for Peter Parker, and he's really scared of all the radiation. He's clearly radiophobic. Like, he's scared of all the radiation. And he's like, is it safe around here? And then his fucking friend is like, if you already have kids. Like, that's a joke. There you go. That's another fucking joke. And that's when I wrote that he is a much better friend than James Franco is in the other ones.
And, like, the worst part of this movie is that he's not in more scenes.
No, this is the only scene he's in.
And he's just gone.
I don't think he has a name. John, probably.
I think his name is Dave. I wrote it down. I don't know why.
Great. I'm trying to think, like, what superhero could he be? Dave? I mean, I know that... Well, I was gonna say, I know that superhero movies back then were all about Easter eggs, but clearly if we have Captain America and Bruce Banner, maybe they were.
Yeah, like, maybe.
What superhero's name is Dave? Nobody I can think of right now, but I'm sure there's gotta be somebody.
There's probably somebody.
Kick-Ass's name is Dave. Maybe.
Well, there we go.
Yeah, it'd be weird if Kick-Ass existed in the 70s, though. Kind of doesn't work as well. So Peter can't pay the delivery guy because he's a fucking broke-ass student, even though he has 2 jobs. And his friend just scares him off. Like, his friend just scares off the fucking delivery guy. But, oh wait, actually, this is important. The delivery guy says that Peter owes him $46, which is something that is said 100 more times.
He says it to, like, Peter says it to everybody he meets. He's like, hey, can I borrow $46?
Yes. He wants that fucking $46 more than he wants to save New York. Like, that's his goal, is to get them. I don't even remember what the package is.
I don't think they ever say it.
Yeah.
It's just a package that he can't pay for.
Probably some weird sex thing.
Yeah, probably.
Probably. He's a young man. He's a
young 27-year-old.
27-year-old man. But yeah, so he can't pay him, and so his friend just scares him off by, like, really slowly moving this robotic claw machine arm toward him, and then he just runs away. Peter's like, this is a really Luke Skywalker line where Peter's just like, why'd you have to do that? He says it like that. And, like, it's like, oh my god. Yeah, and then they just do an experiment that takes like 100 minutes for them to
so long.
Use radiation. I thought this was interesting that you see the spider, and I was like, oh, that's cool, because usually Peter isn't the one who's responsible for the spider. So that's cool that Peter is
technically
radiation.
In this one, he's still not responsible for it, because wasn't it Dave that was doing it?
Maybe.
I think he was just watching,
well,
so technically it's not
yeah, but
his
usually
own fault.
he isn't part of the experiment.
Yeah.
It's like an experiment that's just happening, or has already happened, or whatever. Yeah, so I thought that was cool. The spider falls in a radioactive vat. And then we have this horrible effect that's repeated 4 times, I think, where we get a close-up on the spider, and it's like glowing orange.
It's so bad.
It's so bad to show that it's radioactive. And Okay. And then the spider crawls away. Peter puts on his signature getup, which is an ugly sweater and a messenger bag. He's just doing some research.
Was it a messenger bag? Because I thought it was just his camera.
Oh, was it just his camera?
I think he might have just had his camera. But I thought it was weird that he just hung it over he hung it over his shoulder
instead of like around his neck.
You don't hold the camera like that.
Yeah, no. And I think I think you're right, because later there's a line where he's like, "You always have your camera with you," like the police captain says it. So maybe I think you're right. Oh yeah, he gets bit. That's pretty important. He gets bit by the spider. I forgot. That's when we see that effect 3 more times, where we get the weird orange glow of the spider. Which is
isn't there like a bunch of like really weird cuts between Peter and the spider? Like it just goes back and forth.
There's a lot of that.
It does that like all the time, and it's
it does. There's
for
so
no
much
reason.
of that.
It's really weird.
It usually represents his spider sense, which I will get into
oh boy
later. Big problems with that, but then he just doesn't really do anything. He just walks away.
He's like, all right, that fucking hurt, and then he just leaves.
But not like in a funny way, like in Spider-Verse when Miles gets bit, and then it's like that moment where he just bats it off, like, and it's like a joke. It's a comedy beat. He doesn't care. Like, this is just a man who doesn't care.
He just kind of looks at it, wipes at it a little bit, and then just leaves like nothing happened.
I don't know if we even see him wipe it off. Like, he wipes off, but I don't think we get a close up of him wiping the spider off. Probably
we don't even see him like actually get bit. His hand is behind something.
I don't think we see the spider on him at any point.
Don't. He doesn't like wipe it off. He just kind of like wipes where he got bit, like with his thumb, and then just walks away.
Whatever. He doesn't tell Dave or anything. He just leaves. Okay, and then I was confused by this because it cuts to there's away from Peter Parker, and I guess it's some guy robbing a security van. I don't know. It just looked weird, really weird to me. But I assume he robbed the security van and then he drives off and then he kills himself. I said probably to kill himself, and this is when we get the spider sense. Not the really bad instance that I'm going to talk about later, but. So Peter senses the guy in the car driving towards him. The spider sense effect is literally just extremely rapid cuts between Peter's face and whatever the danger is. So it's in this case it's the car. It's his face car like 100 times.
That is one of the things that I hate the most about it hurts to look at.
It's like practically like a strobe effect. Like it just goes so fast.
Like there should really be like an epilepsy warning before you watch this movie.
And later we're gonna get into that with some of the mind control bits.
Yeah, those are bad too.
Those are bad, but I guess you need to do that in the 70s. But like give a warning. Which what upset me is like obviously this is like 30 years later pretty much. But think about that scene in the first Raimi Spider-Man where you see like the paper airplane go by and then like the fly on the bell and everything, and then Flash Thompson's fist. Like that's incredible. And obviously this wasn't gonna be that.
Yeah.
But it could have been anything. Even if it just zoomed in on his face and it had like the lines like very comic booky, like, that would have been better.
That would have worked fine.
Yeah, that would have been
like,
better.
I would have liked that.
That wouldn't have been hard to do.
Like literally, you have to do that.
Just
then you cut to whatever the danger is, and then you're done. That's it. That's all you need.
Yeah, and then you have an action scene. But there's like one action scene in this whole movie, so never mind.
Like
it's hilarious.
A little more than halfway through.
Yeah, it is. It really is. Clearly, nobody's even trying to hurt each other.
They're not even touching.
But like not even in the story, they're trying to hurt each other. I don't know what they're doing.
I like that Peter gets chased by
the
world's slowest car.
World's slowest car, and he just runs down an alleyway that clearly is a dead end.
Yeah, and he runs all the way to the wall, then with no hesitation at all, just crawls all the way up.
He just climbs it. He didn't know he could do that.
Yeah.
He was bit like 30 seconds ago.
There's absolutely no hesitation. He just climbs up like he knows exactly what he's doing.
Yeah, he just climbs up it, and then he gets, this is really the first time we see the wall crawling effect, and it's something. It's something.
I think it really is the best they could have done
at
the time.
This isn't isn't that bad.
Like, it's not awful, but at the same time, I kind of hate it.
I kind of, it makes me uncomfortable, but...
It's just, you can really tell that he's not even touching the wall.
Yeah, definitely. But, and then immediately he just makes the connection. He just looks at his hand, he's like, oh, like, it was the spider bite.
Yeah,
really.
like...
It's like, how would you... If you didn't know that before, why would you just think to climb the wall? Like, if I was being chased and I ran to the wall, I wouldn't just try to climb it. Like, that doesn't make any sense. It's not like he's trying to jump and grab the wall. He just starts climbing.
He literally
flat
just
palm.
Climbs all the way up. Flat palm, just all the way up with no, like...
It's like he'd read a Spider-Man comic.
Yeah.
And he's like, oh, I wonder if that'll work. And then, yeah, the guy who, in the car, I thought killed himself, but I guess he put himself into a coma again. I don't know, but again, this is like the third guy who drives very slowly into a wall. And then those shady guys who collected the money earlier come in and collect his money. That, I guess, was from the security van, but that was a weird scene earlier. I didn't really understand, so I guess they have the bank robbery money and the security van money, so that's probably about $10 in the 70s. Yeah, and then a few hours have apparently passed, and...
Was it a few hours? I really couldn't tell. I thought it was, like, immediately after.
But enough time for the police to have shown up has passed.
And for Peter to get down.
Peter to be back on the scene, because he just returned to the crime scene and
starts taking pictures
of the crime scene, which I don't think you can do. Like, I mean, you can if you're, like... working with the police, but
yeah, you have to get permission for that.
Literally, that's what the movie Nightcrawler with Jake Gyllenhaal is literally about that, and like how like he takes pictures of murders and stuff that he's not supposed to be taking, and that's what Peter Parker does. Yeah, that's exactly what he does.
But like at the same time, nobody stops.
No,
him.
Nobody
tries to
totally
stop him.
Okay. And then this is when we meet the police captain, I think, who isn't Captain Stacy. He's not Gwen Stacy's father. He's Captain. It's not Captain Barbera. Captain Barbera. Yeah.
And I just want to say that he seems a lot more like J. Jonah in this than actual J. Jonah.
That's a really good point.
He hates Spider-Man so much, and Jonah he's so angry.
Yeah.
But J. Jonah in this isn't. He's just kind of an asshole.
He has like one line at the end about not liking Spider-Man.
Yeah, he just likes to fucking make fun of Peter Parker.
He's an asshole. He's still an asshole, but he's not the asshole that
he's
Jonah
more
is.
Flash Thompson than J. Jonah.
Yes, he is. Captain Barbera goes to question Peter, and all the like bystanders, he calls them rubbernecks, which I'd never heard.
Okay, that's what I thought he was saying, but I had no clue what it actually was supposed to be.
I googled it immediately because I needed to know.
But is it an actual thing?
Yeah.
What does it mean?
It means to like look at something in a foolish manner, like a looky-loo. Like it's like somebody who's just like a benign observer or something.
I guess that's the one thing to call him, I guess.
Anyway, I guess the chief knows that there was money in the trunk, and he asked Peter what happened. Peter, my boy, is not good at making himself not look extremely suspicious.
I'm just here taking pictures.
He incriminates himself at every single turn. So Peter's like, oh, I don't know what happened to the money, and then he just lets Pete leave because Peter is like, can I go now? I have to study for an exam. Yeah, okay, and then we get this is when we get a nice panning shot of Peter's attic bedroom, which is full of science stuff. What a nerd. So this is just clearly another desperate attempt to show that, oh, look, he's a scientist. Radioactive microwaves, these words that nobody knew in the 70s. That way you sound smart. Yeah, Peter's fell asleep reading biology and the future of man and another book that I couldn't make out, but I think that he just left those books out to look cool for Aunt May. Like, that way it looks like he's studying hard.
Did you see how many books there were?
There's like 10 of those. He's not it doesn't look like that much time has passed. Like, there's still daylight. Like, not that much time has passed between him being at the crime scene and him being home. Oh, this is the scene that we were talking about. He has a nightmare about about spider. About the one spider, and it lasts like a minute, and literally it's just like what's practically a still shot of Peter in bed. Just every once in a while he'll toss and turn or whatever, and he's dreaming about the last minute of what happened. Like, just
not
like
even the last minute. It's like the entire movie.
Yeah, I mean everything.
It's just a recap of the entire movie.
It's the last 20 minutes, and then
but at this point it's only been like 20 minutes into the movie.
Like, but it feels like we're like an hour in. Like,
by the way, this movie is an hour and a half long.
Yeah.
So
it's only an hour and a half. It's literally like 91 21 minutes.
It's like some of like the most weirdly entertaining but kind of slow hour and a half.
It feels kind of slow in parts, but I like we'll get to it later whether or not I would recommend watching it, but I kind of would. I think it's kind of fun, especially if you're a Spider-Man fan. You like weird shit like this. Like if you're a big fan of the Adam West Batman series, this is kind of like that.
Yeah,
it's kind
we'll get to it. We'll get to it at the end.
We'll get to that. Anyway, he has a nightmare, and this is clearly just they needed to fill up the runtime sequence. And there's a similar scene in the first Raimi Spider-Man movie too, but it's not that. Like he's dreaming about like the spider crawling into his molecular structure and stuff. Like it's not just last minute of the movie.
I feel like that one makes a little bit more sense.
Well, that one makes a lot of sense, but I'm wondering if Sam Raimi watched this and was like, because it's a very similar idea. I hope so. I mean, if I was making a Spider-Man movie, I would have watched this before. I would have wanted to see everything. Japanese Spider-Man, Italian Spider-Man, I don't care. I would have watched it all. This is a great scene too, this is when Peter goes outside and climbs the walls.
There's no reason for him to do this. He just goes out and does it.
No, he just does it. Because he did it earlier, I guess.
It makes it seem like, because this is right after he just had like the nightmare, but then it cuts to just him crawling out the window.
Just on the wall. He just crawls out the window.
So there's no reason for him to go out.
He wasn't just dreaming about him wall crawling.
Yeah.
He was dreaming about like his talk with the police captain, like anything that happened. Any bullet point I have on this notebook, is probably a scene that we saw in that dream.
It definitely is.
Yeah, he climbs the walls, set to weird 70s porn music, and it is hilarious. It looks really bad.
It's so obviously a green screen.
And it goes on for such a long time.
It's like, it feels like it's like a 10-minute scene when it's not that. It's like 2 minutes.
It's like 2 minutes. It just goes he crawls every single wall of the house.
It feels like it's really long, but it's kind of funny to watch. It's pretty funny to just look at how bad it is.
Like I don't mind that it feels like it goes on forever. Yeah. It's just I was so surprised that was in this movie. I didn't know it was gonna go there. Like actually look that bad.
I'm kind of glad that it's in there.
Oh, me too.
It's so good.
Whenever it gets, because some of it's kind of competent, and so whenever it gets like the really dumb shit that you think the whole thing is gonna be, I'm like, okay, I love this. Like this is what I want. Yeah, so Peter runs down another alleyway because, it's free to shoot in alleyways. You don't have to get a permit. And then he climbs another wall, and somehow I thought it was worse. Probably not, but in the moment, I think just after all that crazy fucking wall crawling, I
don't think it was worse. It was probably just as bad.
It was probably
but
just
it makes
as bad.
It worse that there was just a scene of him crawling for the past 2 minutes,
yeah,
and then he decides to go somewhere else to do it again.
That's clearly his favorite spider power, because he barely uses the other ones.
It's like the only one that he uses.
Yeah. This was a scene where I went off.
Oh boy, okay. Yeah, I know where this is going.
Okay, so Spider-Man.
Strap in, ladies and gentlemen.
It's
rant time.
So sorry. There's probably going to be one of these an episode.
Probably.
This is just. I'm not great at the science or the maths.
All right. Today's rant is about how the spider sense works.
Today's rant is all about spider sense and the proximity limitations. So I would say skip about. You see that little 15-second mark, the 15-second skip ahead button, press that about 4 or 5 times, and then hopefully we will be talking about something else. But so Spider-Man senses this lady getting her purse snatched from a couple miles away. Like, it's not right there. It's like a little bit in the distance. Pretty in the distance, not to the point where Spider-Man would just be able to, like, sense that. And also, it's not an extremely dangerous situation. Usually he can't sense muggings. He can sense danger, but the point is, it's really far away. I wanna get a little nerdy with this. I have a few talking points. Okay, so according to the Spider-Man page on the Marvel Wiki, his spider sense allows him to be alerted to a potential or immediate danger. So it alerts him to things like speeding bullets and falling safes, but only in both intimate and immediate senses. So
he has a getting hurt alarm, not a crime alarm.
It's not a crime alarm. It's not like Daredevil's radar sense, which is kind of different from this, but that's a whole other thing, spider sense versus radar sense. This isn't intimate, it's not immediate, it's not happening to him, it's not happening close enough for him to detect. But what really the thing that pisses me off about spider sense, and the frustrating part of this wiki and pretty much all the research I did, is there's no mention to like to the extent of the radius of where his spider sense can go. Like from the central point, the focal point, how far out does it go? Like does it go miles or does it go like a few feet? Like I think when the rhino's charging at him, he can detect that, but also that's in like 1/100 of a second. Like it doesn't make sense. So I did some more research and looking for information on the radius, and so I went to sixthsensereader.org, which I don't know what that's about. It might be a weird cult website. I felt really uncomfortable when I was on there. I think it's about people trying to unlock their sixth senses, but that's neither here nor there. So that states that it can alert him to security cameras when he's changing in and out of costume. But so that shows that it isn't just danger, although that is still danger to his identity. It makes no mention of proximity boundaries there either. And then so I went to a listicle on cbr.com, comic book resources, and that makes mention to the way it alerts him to danger even if it isn't imminent, but only in the way that if someone near him is like evil or has bad intentions, he can occasionally sense that presence. Usually that happens, you'll see that when he's dealing with the chameleon, because the chameleon can look like anybody. So usually he can tell that something's off there. That isn't the real person. But no, that I don't think in any the conclusion of my essay is I don't think that in any instance that I could find on the internet or in going back through my mind of all the comics that I have read, I can't find an instance where he can sense muggings. But honestly, Spider Sense is probably literally the most inconsistent power of all his powers, and none of that matters. So I just wasted a bunch of time.
I just want to say that I think it's really funny that, one, this pissed you off, and two, you did so much research to find nothing. I didn't find anything, which kind of, I think, proves my point that nothing. I mean, it's wrong. It's comic book logic. You're not supposed to question it.
Of course, it's comic book logic. I was just like, this would be fun to see if this is actually a thing, and to educate you guys on what Spider Sense is about. Point is,
thank you for coming to our TED Talk.
Thank you for coming to my TED Talk. Then that mugger eventually runs into Peter, who's climbing this wall, and it's such a big fucking wall.
Like, what building is this?
I don't know.
It's like just a giant. It's
a giant
so
white
high.
Wall. It's a giant. Yeah, it's so fucking high. He's so high up. And so the mugger runs into him and just stands and stares at him because like he's in shock. The mugger's just staring at Peter Parker, and so the mugger, who is holding a stolen purse, runs to a cop and is like, "There's a guy climbing the fucking walls," and the cop's like, "You're crazy." And then a whole crowd shows up just staring at Peter climbing the walls.
Like there's not even like a shot of all of them coming. They just appear and they're like, "There's a guy climbing the wall."
Yeah, a bunch of weird like soccer moms are watching, and grandmas.
They all see it as he's climbing down, so that when the police officer looks, of course, there's nobody there.
No, there's no one there. And when Spider-Man turns around, when the mugger's there, and Spider-Man's like, "Hey, wait a minute," which I don't know how. Yeah, you'd be able to hear him.
No, I have a note about this.
Yeah,
that's just hold it.
No, that's exactly right. Just hold up.
Just what it is. He's just like, hold it, and the guy just stops. He listens, and he's just.
Which, if Captain America and Bruce Banner do exist in this universe...
Yes, this shouldn't be very surprising.
Unless Bruce Banner isn't the Hulk yet.
But Captain America exists.
Captain America was a super soldier fighting super Nazis with, like, red skulls and shit. So... Okay, then another... I know I keep saying hard cut, but there's so many just fucking hard location cuts. Hard cut with no introduction to the Daily Bugle again, where Peter's there and he's offering to sell J. Jonah Jameson a bunch of picks for $46.
Exactly.
Which I went to the inflation calculator just to see how much that would be today, and that is about $192.67.
Jesus, really?
Yeah, which I didn't know how much that was gonna be.
What the hell was his package?
That was only 1977. Peter claims that these are pictures of the perpetrator of the mind control suicides, which I don't think they are. I don't know what that means.
I don't think. Do we even see what the pictures are of?
No, that's why it's confusing. That's why I said.
Oh
claims,
no! It's the pictures of the guy that tried to hit him with a car.
Is that guy?
I think so.
So does he think that guy's behind it?
I guess. But okay, I just want to say that this time, Jay Jonah says that the pictures are too similar.
Yeah.
So he won't take these either. The last ones were too good.
Too good.
These ones aren't good enough.
These aren't good enough. There's no impressing J. Jonah Jameson, which I guess is pretty accurate to the character. Like, anyway, then
they're too similar.
Yeah. He says some people who I said were probably rubbernecks. We're watching a guy And J. Jonah Jameson says that he can spin webs, but at no point has this been demonstrated. We've never seen him spin a single web.
And he will proceed to not do that.
No, he doesn't do it
most of the rest of the movie.
And also, they say that they've been calling him Spider-Man, so he just has a name. Like, they've just already called him.
Like, I'm gonna assume that it's only been a couple hours since that happened.
Yeah.
This is probably the same day.
Yeah, this is probably the same day.
The public has decided that he is Spider-Man.
This whole movie might be the same day. And then this is another instance when Peter makes it incredibly obvious that he's Spider-Man. I don't remember how he does it, but I'm pretty sure he's just like saying things about Spider-Man that nobody could possibly know from what the information that the public has.
He's like, he can climb up walls and he can shoot webs.
He can shoot webs and he wears a colorful costume.
And he's super strong, but he hasn't demonstrated that.
Anything.
Literally, all he's done is climb up walls.
Is he super strong? Do we ever see him be super strong?
I don't think so.
Does he ever throw a punch? There's a lot of kicking. I don't think there's ever a punch.
I think he does throw maybe 2.
Jesus Christ, fucking Spider-Man.
There's one action scene.
Yeah, there's one action scene.
And it's in a hallway.
That's true. Yeah, oh man, that's a precursor for the Netflix, Daredevil and Jessica Jones where it's all in a hallway. Yeah, that's, wow. Man, this is a trendsetter, this movie. So, he's talking to J.J. Jameson and Robbie about what Spider-Man can do. And he says that he can spin webs, and yeah, that's never been shown. And Jonah says that he's crazy, but Peter says that he has a picture of Spider-Man.
At his house.
And Peter says that Spider-Man wears a special costume. If this is the same day that he got his powers, how long do you think it takes to make a Spider-Man costume? Like an elaborate Spider-Man costume. With a perfect pattern.
Making a full body costume. And I'm assuming that Peter Parker doesn't know how to sew.
No.
Or anything.
But
that would take so much time.
So long.
That would take probably 2 weeks.
Ask any cosplayer or I think Godzilla Mendoza on YouTube, not sponsored, just like his videos. He has a video where he makes a Spider-Man costume.
That would take anywhere from 2 weeks at the bare minimum.
At the bare minimum.
Probably months.
He must have done it in an hour though. Or this movie's just horrible at conveying how much time has passed.
It's probably both of those.
Yeah, probably it's just a dumb movie. But they tell him to go home and get the picture, and this is when we meet Aunt May, gorgeous woman, and she tells Peter to take his allergy pills. Which this is great, because they're just killing time. Where she keeps telling him to take his allergy pills, and that she's gonna go put soup on the table.
Okay, she runs up and down those stairs so many times.
Yeah, she keeps doing it.
She goes down and she's like, "Did you hear me?"
Yeah.
When he's been responding the entire time.
Are you listening to me? He's like, "Yes, mommy."
Did you take your allergy pills?
Yes, mommy.
Just get your soup. I'm busy. Did you hear me?
And then in my notes I've just written, "This is the good shit." So I don't know what's about to happen. But turning the page, I can see that Peter Parker, in a grand reveal of him walking in front of a mirror, he is in a completed final draft of the Spider-Man costume immediately.
First try.
But it kind of looks awesome. It's kind of cool.
I didn't notice till towards the end of the movie. Those eyes are awful.
The eyes.
Those are
totally
so
detract
bad.
from it. They're like the sunglasses eyes from Amazing Spider-Man.
Yeah.
They are literally just sunglass lenses.
I will say that the suit for the time is actually pretty good.
Yeah, otherwise it's not bad.
But the eyes are so bad.
I don't know how
they kind of look like patches.
Yeah, it looks it's just pieces of
fabric.
Yeah, fabric. It looks weirdly
it's too
glass
thick.
And weirdly fabric at the same time. I don't know what they're made. I'd love to find out what those are made of, but yeah.
I was just curious. So it takes 26 minutes into the movie for the suit to show up.
For the suit to show. Honestly, that's
pretty good for a superhero movie.
Better than it is in the Raimi movies. I wonder.
Yeah,
if somebody out there do a time comparison.
I feel a lot of superhero movies take an hour
to get to
just get to the suit,
especially the final costume.
Yeah, it takes so long. So this one, out of an hour and a half being 26 minutes in, that's not too bad.
That's not bad. No, that's definitely a plus side of the movie, is that we don't have to watch him just run around.
There's still another hour
of the movie
possible for Spider-Man to do spider things.
We're almost at an hour.
Yep.
We've
gotten through a quarter, not even a quarter of the movie.
Yeah.
A third.
Jesus Christ. Thirds are more than the quarter.
Fuck.
That's staying
I can't
in.
do math.
That is staying in. That's hilarious.
I can't do math.
Anyway, okay, so yeah, he has the costume. And the costume, which I was telling you about this, the mask doesn't come off like you would think. You have to reach around to like the top of the shoulders and pull it off.
You have to, it's like taking off a shirt. It's like, it's halfway off, so you just have to like pull the rest over.
You have to pull it around. Like, the mask isn't detractable. It's a one-piece thing.
Yeah, it's kind of like, okay, this is gonna be a weird thing to compare it to. It's kind of like how the cases for AirPods look.
Oh no!
Do you know what I'm like? Do you get what I mean?
Yeah, kind of.
How it like kind of like just like flips over. Like it looks like you'd have to like climb in and pull it up as high, like probably like up to like armpit level.
Yeah, it's like
then you'd have to pull it over from the front and make sure it's all the way down.
Well, yeah, it's like a box of cards. Like in the way that like you have to. Yeah, it's got like a flap. That's the mask.
It's so like why?
Yeah, it's
like
that's bad.
But I feel like it's kind of hard to figure out how to get the mask because I feel
to be
like
a separate piece.
Yeah, because like when the mask is a separate piece, it's kind of like, well, how does it stay on then?
Well, even in Batman 1989 or in Batman Returns, he pulls off the mask and it's like a weird like fruit roll up mask. Like he has to tear it off at the neck. So like there's even which I think that's when superhero costumes started to get great is there. Other than maybe Christopher Reeve's Superman, because like that's hard to fuck up. But even though Man of Steel was able to fuck it up somehow by making it super dark. But yeah, like even that suit couldn't get the mask right. It probably wasn't even until the first Sam Raimi Spider-Man movie that mask technology started to get good.
Yeah, it's probably somewhere around there.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, so he sells the pics that he took to Jonah, and Jonah thinks that Spider-Man's a freak, which, yeah, he is. I mean, he's not wrong. And I thought that this was a good exchange where Peter says, if you could do what he can, what would you do with it? And Jonah's just like, join the circus.
Yeah.
I thought that was funny. That's a very J. Jonah Jameson line.
That was a pretty good line.
Yeah,
I liked it. I liked that one a lot.
Yeah, that was fun. What was I talking about? Oh, and then Jonah's giving Pete a tough time, but Robbie's like, oh, give him a break. Jonah, you dickhead. Exact quote. And then it turns out the extortionist had another victim kill himself, and Robbie convinces Jonah to let Peter take the pictures. Then the police chief shows up, and his partner, whose name is Monahan, I don't know why I wrote that, but I did, and they're at the scene of the most recent suicide, and the captain says that...
The first suicide, actually.
Oh, yeah.
All the other ones are in comas. That's the first one.
Jesus, that... Honestly, as soon as he said... I think this is the scene where we find out it was comas. That makes it not as intense at all. But yeah, he says a few times that the 5,000 was stolen by a crazy lone wolf. Like, there's some really weird 70s slang in this movie. Or maybe that's like 40s slang, because that's probably when that police captain was growing up. Yeah, Peter does some really horrible camera work to take the pictures.
Yeah, there's so many, like, those pictures are so blurry with how much he's moving that camera.
But, yeah, and then he loses these pictures, too.
Yeah, he
drops the film.
Yeah, he drops the camera.
He bumps into somebody and the film just comes out, which I don't know how, like, fucking weak that camera latch is. If you get bumped and then the latch opens, the back of the camera falls out, and the film rolls onto the ground. Like, I don't know who fucking made that camera. It's probably Lumix.
He probably made it himself.
Lumix. Yeah.
If he could make a fucking Spider-Man suit.
Yeah, if he could, in a minute.
Yeah, like, immediately.
Yeah, and then, okay, this is weird. Spider-Man just distracts this paramedic so he can free the guy behind the driver's seat who isn't dead, because this is the professor.
Yeah.
So, I guess this isn't even a suicide. No, there's no suicides until later?
I think the first mention of a suicide is when the professor tries to kill himself, I think. But and then all the ones after that are suicides.
Well, the newscaster does talk about them destroying themselves, though.
Yeah, okay, yeah.
But yeah, who knows? Like, that's weird that he didn't say kill. Maybe he didn't for a reason. I don't know. It's just a weird bit. I thought this was kind of cool, though, when he moves the chair with the super strength. That's right. We do see he has super strength. That's right. I totally forgot.
Was that super...
Well, because he like bends the chair back and it makes like that sound, which that's pretty cool sound design in that moment. The one moment of good sound design.
And then he fucking rips off the steering wheel
off, and the paramedic comes back and he's like, "What happened?" He's clearly talking about how the professor's out of the professor is like free, but
I don't know. The steering wheel fell off.
Exactly, the steering wheel fell off. I don't know what happened.
And then he just doesn't question it.
No, he doesn't question it.
But the steering wheel is. He threw it onto the other chair.
Yeah, onto the passenger seat. So deliberately, like, torn off by him.
And it made so much noise.
Yeah, it did. Him bending a chair back. That's not quiet.
He bent metal.
Yeah.
Twice.
So this is when we learn all the victims are just in comas, which that kind of made me feel like, oh, like that's not as cool.
Yeah, it's not so bad.
Not so bad. Like it makes the villain that already isn't really a threat even less of a threat.
Yeah.
So the daughter of the victim shows up, who I called the daughter of the professor in my notes for a while, but later we learn her name is Judy. So Judy shows up and she
didn't even know that.
Yeah, exactly. Right. It doesn't matter really. She's not in it that much, but Judy shows up and she's the professor's daughter. And we learn that Peter knew her father, and Peter thinks that the daughter's hot, so he very awkwardly insists that they drive together to the hospital, even though one, she clearly is not interested in Peter, and two, she's worried about her father, and three, Peter has never formally met her father. Nope. So he has no business visiting him in the hospital.
And he doesn't even wait for her to say yes or no to it.
He's
just like, come on, let's go. And then he opens the door for her, she gets in, and he runs all the way around and gets in the other side, and
rapey.
She's just fine with it.
Yeah, it's kind of rapey. Honestly, how he just gets in the car. He's like, I'm coming in this car with you. Yeah, that was weird. But then we see that evil man, the fedora from earlier, the weird shady guy I was talking about. He shows up and he's watching Pete and fucking what's her face, Judy. Oh yeah, the fedora guy. He radios into some guy, and then there's it doesn't matter because we just cut back to the hospital.
Yeah,
immediately. And then the nurse is there and she's like, please get the fuck out.
Yeah.
to Peter and Judy. It's like, get out of here. We don't want you. Not like it's not like, oh, visiting hours are over.
Yeah,
it's like, no, please.
You need to leave.
Just leave, please. We don't want you here.
We need the plot to move forward.
And then the mysterious broadcast station, I think, is in the hospital or something.
I have no clue how it works.
It keeps cutting between.
I don't know how this mind control stuff works.
Well, apparently it's microwaves.
It's something to do with microwaves and pins. But I don't know how that has anything to do with mind control. But whatever.
Yeah, we can talk about that later.
Yeah.
But, so this room is just full of like buttons and switches. Like it's like a big fidget cube. It's just a bunch of buttons, like so many buttons and dials and shit. And then this evil doctor puts one of the pins, the weird mind control pins, on the professor's jacket and leaves, and we see the broadcast station again, and there's this blue screen that reads Noah Tyler destroy, and I assume Noah Tyler is the name of the professor. I'm pretty sure later when I found out Judy's name, she introduces herself as Judy Tyler, so
I think so.
So that must be the professor.
I was gonna look it up, but that's not worth it.
And so the pin makes the pin has like beams that come out of it. Do you remember? It's like white beams that come out of the pin.
I don't remember that.
They wake the professor up. So there's like no rules to this mind control. And then the professor's gonna jump out the window, and we get the scene where Spider-Man comes to save the professor.
But Suicide's badass. But you know what's more badass? Spider-Man.
Are you sure? Suicide is badass.
But Spider-Man's more badass. Pretty cool. Especially him not using webs.
Yeah. So the professor's gonna kill himself. Nobody really cares, but Spider-Man shows up, and we get I thought this was cool. We get some first-person wall crawling.
There's a lot of that.
Which is like that. There's a lot of that in The Amazing Spider-Man.
No, but there's also a lot of that in this movie. For some reason, there's a lot of first-person shots of just...
Well, that's what I'm saying, but do you think The Amazing Spider-Man was inspired by this?
Oh, God.
To have first-person wall crawling?
100%. There's no doubt.
It might, though, because, like, I mean, I guess that isn't that hard of a technique to think of.
It's really not that hard.
Yeah, but I just thought that was funny. And it looks kind of cool. It's not that bad.
I guess.
Because you don't see his body. Like, you just see his hands. And then the mind control isn't very good at making you kill yourself because he just sits on the windowsill forever.
Yeah, he just stands there for, like, minutes. And so, he's just, like, not doing anything.
Instead of Spider-Man helping him back into his room, he brings him up to the roof. And then there's, like, a sick guitar riff, I guess. And then the cops chase Spidey up to the roof. They go up to the roof, but Spidey just gets away. He runs away from the police. Without explaining himself, because that doesn't make him look bad.
And, like, at the end of the scene, he goes back to Judy or whatever.
Yeah.
And she's like, Peter, where were you? Which is not suspicious that right when Spider-Man disappeared, you came back or anything.
Yeah, that's classic Spider-Man, though. That happens all the time. But, like, in this movie, when Peter Parker is the worst liar in the world, it's so much worse.
Like, literally, I think it was within, like, eyesight. He went behind the building and then ran out as Peter Parker from where Spider-Man was.
Do we see him leave?
I think we do.
Yeah.
He just comes out from behind a building.
Yeah. Back at the Bugle, because this movie has like 3 locations for a solid 20 minutes. We're back at the Bugle. Jonah's yelling at Peter for not getting those photos of Spider-Man when he's doing the thing, and he's asked for the car wreck photos, and Peter says that he doesn't have those either because his film got destroyed, and so Jonah kicks him out, which, I mean, yeah, good. Get the fuck out of here, Peter Parker. And then, in this really shitty move, he asked the professor's daughter, Judy, for his $46.
Yeah. She's like, if there's anything I can do, just let me know. Hey, can I borrow $46?
And she says yes, which, that's $200.
Yeah,
when you think about it. He's just asking this girl,
when
he hasn't met once.
He hasn't done anything for her. Like...
No, she says after all you've done for us. But he's done nothing.
She doesn't know that he's Spider-Man.
That would imply that she knows that he's Spider-Man, which she clearly doesn't.
She doesn't.
No.
She'd probably ask about it or mention it or something.
Unless that's just a scene that they just cut out.
Maybe.
But, and then Spider-Man and Judy walk through Central Park. Maybe it's Central Park, I don't know. And Peter makes like a joke about the KKK.
Does he?
Yeah.
I didn't catch that.
Yeah, she's like, oh, he's been going to these meetings. And Spider-Man, she says that her father's been going to these meetings, and he's like, oh, meetings where he puts a white sheet on his head and calls himself a goon? Which,
holy shit.
This is a good time to admit that, or not to admit, but to
admit, I'm part of the KKK.
I'm part of I am a white supremacist. No, people are gonna take that out of context. Don't use that clip, please. But so we watched this on YouTube. And you guys just go watch it on YouTube if you're gonna watch it.
Be warned that like literally the maximum like graphical setting is 240p.
Yeah,
it looks terrible.
Yeah,
but it's free. You can watch it whenever you want.
It's free, and that kind of adds to the charm because you kind of feel like you're watching it on like a television in the 70s.
Yeah,
which is kind of fun. But the reason I'm saying this is because the audio isn't bad. I mean, the audio is bad. So I'm hoping that he said goon with a G and not any other word, because that could be problematic.
A little.
It's really weird.
I honestly did not catch that.
Yeah,
and I'm genuinely surprised that they put that in there.
Maybe I'm reading into it.
Maybe I think I'll have to go back and listen to that again.
Maybe he's saying that he dresses up as like a ghost.
I don't know.
I don't know.
No KKK jokes in my Spider-Man.
No, thank you. Judy tells Peter that they have to go meet this guy named Mr. Byron, who's a friend of her father's, and this is when I finally learned what her name was, because she introduces herself because they go to Byron's fancy party.
And in your notes you have in all caps, Judy Tyler. Her name is Judy Tyler.
Because for the longest time I was just making puns because I was waiting for her to say her name. And so he gives he gathers everyone like these church pews, and I didn't know what was happening. He gives a really culty speech about how happiness is unachievable and fuck your dreams. Like, yeah, he's like
you can't be happy by trying to be happy.
Yeah,
like fucking what?
Happiness doesn't come if you try to be happy. But like, if you're not allowing yourself to be happy, how can you be happy?
Yeah, and Peter is just as confused as like the entire audience.
This is an idea that's just abandoned immediately.
Yeah,
like he's not making these people kill themselves because he wants them to see the world a certain way.
He's
or anything.
Just telling them that they can't be happy.
This is just a weird speech that was probably done on the fly. He kicks Byron just kicks Peter and Judy out. Oh, I accidentally called her Rose. Peter, I don't know.
Where'd you get that from?
I think it was 3 a.m. Peter and which this is a great 3 a.m. movie.
It is.
But Peter and Judy, he kicks them out because they aren't official members of the group, which is probably good. And this is when I started to talk about how Peter gives me real Luke Skywalker vibes, probably because there is a lot of whining in this moment. Peter forgot to take his allergy pills.
Yep.
He lied to his Aunt May. He forgot to take them. He keeps sneezing and coughing and talking about how he forgot to take them. Rose says I don't know where they are. I didn't write it, but Rose says that she's gonna go to more Byron sessions with or without Peter, and Peter's just like, all right, fine, bitch, whatever you want to do.
Okay, it's like the most confusing like cult speech you could ever listen to.
Yeah.
It makes no sense.
No,
Peter's
it's bad.
Confused, but she somehow completely understands what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah.
Like, she agrees with him.
Yeah, fucking Sharon Tate over there is totally alright with it.
Go, okay, yeah, go.
Yeah,
I don't, okay.
You deserve to be killed.
Yeah.
But, yeah, okay. This is when Peter makes his web shooter, which, when he presses it down the first time and it doesn't have a web in it, it sounds like a shotgun. Like, it's just like, pow!
It just fucking explodes.
It fires out a bullet. But yeah, the webs are just ropes. Like they're just threaded ropes.
So it doesn't even look like rope. It doesn't even look like rope. It looks like actual like it just looks like string.
Yeah.
Like, it's not strong enough to support anything.
Maybe he should use that rope to fucking hang himself. because here's where we get the stuntman swinging from a tree. He doesn't try to swing from a building. He tries to swing from a tree.
He swings from a tree.
Clearly, when he swings around the tree, he's too heavy for the tree, and like the tree almost falls over all the way.
He fucking slides against the ground.
Yeah. Like they didn't cut in time.
It really isn't. The string is definitely not meant for somebody to hang off of.
No, and that tree definitely is not meant for the swing, and they picked a bad tree. I'm just amazed that nobody was killed. Maybe they were, but I couldn't find anything. And so the 10 New Yorkers who are gonna kill themselves are revealed to us. They're all sitting in the cult room. And there's these weird. This is the seizure part we were talking about with the weird multicolor like flashing lights.
Yeah, it's so bad.
Yeah, that could be traumatic to people. That's intense. There's some really weird cuts here. Maybe the editor died or whatever. That's why I wrote. I remember what that.
Does the movie even have an editor with how many weird cuts?
They probably made Nicholas Hammond do it. They probably made Spider-Man do it. Peter picks up some weird radio signal that tells him to save the citizens. I don't know who sent it, but Peter senses the people in the warehouse, which again, that's not in Spider Sense's.
Time for another rant now.
Yeah, the citizens tell this lady named Mrs. Elkins that she has an important job. And we get more first-person wall crawling. And that's the point I was wondering if Amazing Spider-Man stole it from this. In the wall crawling scene, you clearly can see where like the mask comes off. Like there's like a crease where the mask will come off of the thing. Like the weird Matchbox thing we were talking about. Weird AirPod cover. Okay, this is really fucking funny when Spider-Man jumps off. He's like on a sign. He jumps off the sign onto a roof, and then he just starts sneezing for like 30 seconds of sneezing. It's hilarious.
I had never thought of this before, but sneezing in the Spider-Man mask must be so awful.
Gross. That's so disgusting. You're right.
That just sounds so bad.
Oh my god. Yeah, that is a mucusy fucking mask.
Like fucking spring must be the worst for Spider-Man.
Especially for this fucking allergy prone dork. Yeah. Spider-Man does some excellent sneaking, some excellent stealth. Which, it's like, it reminded me of, like, a stealth sequence in a video game that isn't a stealth game, and, like, it's really bad. Like, whenever a GTA game tries to do a stealth section, it's like that. But, yeah, that's pretty bad. But, yes, this is the one action scene in the movie.
Yep, the one hallway scene with 3...
Yeah, do you want to explain
who he's
fighting?
They really come out of nowhere. The entire fight scene is in a hallway, and it's just 3 Asian guys with bamboo sticks.
Yeah, three.
Don't know where they came from. I don't think any of them have a single line in the entire movie. They're just there.
They're there. And
so
they're recurring characters.
And okay, so the fight scene, I don't think it's awful, but you can really tell that nobody's touching each other.
Nobody's touching anybody.
Nobody's touching each other.
No,
but I think it's okay. It's awful.
It's fun.
Yeah, it's entertaining.
It's 70s television action, which isn't a horrible thing.
Yeah,
and
that's exactly what it's meant to be.
It's not insulting. No, it totally does what
it does its job.
Yeah,
there's
nothing wrong
amazing,
with it.
But it's kind of funny to watch.
It is funny. It starts with Spider-Man does a hop to the ceiling. He crawls over the bad guys, and they watch him do it, and then he just lands behind them.
But not really behind them because they watched him do the entire thing, so they're still facing the same way.
Yeah, exactly. Their eyes followed them, and so their bodies. So now they're looking at each other. And there's like some sped up fighting, which I forgot about.
I had to go back and watch that again because I couldn't tell if that was just it being like 2 a.m. or if it was actually in the movie. Nope, it's actually in the movie.
That's actually in the movie. It's like a weird Zack Snyder bit, like where it's just like really sped up and then it slows back down. And I wrote that this is adorable because it's so funny. There's a lot of kicks to the face. There's some double kicks. Spidey runs to the roof. He runs away from the fight.
Yeah, he's gone.
Somebody gets kicked in the dick. And then there's more double kicking. And then we got some more horrible web swing, which this is the shot that they use.
Hold on. So this fight ends by Spider-Man shooting very terrible, super thin webs.
It's so fucking thin.
It looks like the ones that you get from the Halloween store.
It's like silly string.
Yeah, it's like those really bad, it's those ones that are like $1 or $2.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, they're just so bad. This is when he like runs to the window, and they just follow him. It did nothing.
They follow him.
It didn't do anything.
But he swings away. I think. I don't remember. But
no, he doesn't. He doesn't swing away. He
really?
climbs out the window, then climbs up the building.
And then he climbs up the building. And then
more wall
crawling. I think at that point I'd grown so numb to the wall crawling. I was like, I'm not gonna write that down.
Yeah, because there's just so much of it.
We know what this is. Yeah, and then Mrs. Elkins, that old lady, she robbed and gassed a fucking bank, which is pretty funny when you think about it. And then she drives into a wall. What a shock! I mean, that is only
world's slowest car crash number 3.
That a fucking 100.
Did she die this time, or is it another coma, or did they not say?
I don't think we ever see her again.
Let's assume she died.
I hope she died. Yeah, fuck old women. This is another scene where Spider-Man makes himself look so fucking guilty in front of the police.
Like, aren't they literally like, why are you, or like, they're like, aren't you at every scene? And he's like, yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know how it happens, but yeah, I'm usually there.
And they have a newspaper that has pictures of Spider-Man that Peter Parker took. And they're like, that's your name, right, Peter Parker? And he's just like, that's me. So yeah, we know. Thanks, Pete. I think it's like Peter Parker is a bit slow in this sometimes.
For being a smart character,
yeah,
he's a dumbass.
A fucking scientist, yeah. So he's like, oh, find me Spider-Man, and I want to interview him. The chief of police, like, I want to interview Spider-Man. So Peter goes and talks to Byron one-on-one and says he wants to become part of his program, and so he's given the membership pin, which is that weird fucking
mind control.
Yeah, the weird mind control thing. But I guess it doesn't matter because like it can shoot rays because that's what it did to make the fucking professor go to kill himself. Yeah. Which, why would you put it on his jacket if that's
fucking, who knows?
Who knows? Anyway, Peter's hypnotized. We get more of the weird strobe light stuff. Byron says that he's not going to remember any of this, and that on Friday he has to jump off the fucking Empire State Building, which that's pretty intense.
Yeah, that's rough.
After that, Spider-Man, he gets back in costume. He runs into the bamboo stick guys again.
Yeah.
I guess are Byron's security. And this was really fucking surprising when he shoots another web to get away, and one of them takes out a flamethrower. Yeah. It's like, why weren't you using the flamethrower earlier?
And then he fucking, doesn't he break his arm or something?
He falls just like...
He falls into a statue or something.
He falls and he catches the statue.
Oh, yeah.
And I thought that was pretty kind of cool when he falls and he grabs the statue, but like, he's pretty beat up, so he just runs through the street, and this is a great scene. When he tries to get the cab.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just need you to take me home.
He finds a cab driver, and his driver's like, he's like, please, I'm coming from a costume party. I'm coming from a masquerade.
Oh, yeah, and he's like, I'm not taking no Spider-Man home,
like,
and he just drives away.
I'm not taking you home dressed like that. To that part of town, which is Queens. Yeah, it's not that bad. And then he
I don't think he ever specifies where he's going. He just says, take me home.
Take me home. So he doesn't know. I mean, like, we're not New Yorkers, but I think Queens is one of the less dangerous boroughs anyway. But yeah, the cabbie drives off, and so Spider-Man gets a ride in the back of a garbage truck, that's very Deadpool. Like in Deadpool, when that's basically what he does. The Daily Bugle headlines. I can speak English. Headlines. Are you one of the 10? Which that's actually pretty scary. Like if you knew that this was gonna happen in New York, and anybody could just be forced to kill themselves. I thought that's a cool idea.
It's a cool idea, but maybe not for a Spider-Man comic or for a Spider-Man like movie.
Yeah,
I think it would work as a comic.
Yeah,
but not in this. It doesn't work as good.
Maybe if it was executed better. If it wasn't this.
Yeah,
and like
I feel like
if it was a villain that we liked, like
yeah,
if it was
and I feel like it would have to be on a little bit of a bigger scale than 10 people.
10 people, yeah, maybe. Yeah, but yeah, I thought that was a cool idea, just a bad execution. Then the city, they say on the news that the city has no idea if the mayor is gonna approve that demand money. That's pretty much just given up on, I think.
Yeah.
So Peter calls the police from the lab, and this is when he says that mind control uses microwave something. I thought he said server. I replayed this a bunch of times.
I think he literally just says microwaves.
Use microwaves?
Yeah, he just says microwaves.
Jesus Christ. I'm not gonna even... But, yeah, okay. So he says he's gonna go show the cops how to jam the signal. Oh, we're finally getting to the end. So, on the way back to the police station, Spider-Man... Or on the way to the police station to show them how to do the thing. Spider-Man, he gets hypnotized. He goes to the Empire State Building. And another guy who's hypnotized gets out of his car, and he climbs a bridge, and he's gonna kill himself. And then the fedora guy sees the police stop the money deal, I think, or something. Oh, I was confused, because it's the plane. It's like the plane and the water. And I think that's where the money was supposed to be delivered, because Byron's watching with the binoculars.
Which, that scene was so fucking stupid.
What scene?
The scene with the binoculars, like, watching the airplane. Like, when they get there, how can he hear them?
I don't know.
They're so far away. That's not how binoculars work.
No, not at all. But then the cops show up.
But the voiceover. The voiceover
of the cops?
So, just all of them.
We caught you.
So bad. Yeah. They're just like, oh, come on, man.
all right, we give up.
Yeah, it's so bad.
It's like 18.
Yeah.
Fucking levels of. And then this is when I start to be like, oh no. Then Byron types in Peter Parker destroy the same way he did for the professor earlier in the monitor, which at this point I don't really care. But Pete's about to jump off the Empire State Building, and this is so dumb.
It's so when the pin gets knocked off.
There's like a safety measure. There's like a gate around the edge of the Empire State Building, and one of the pikes of the gate knocks his mind control pin off, and so he just snaps out of it. Like that's how it was solved.
Like he just stops.
It's
and then he just runs.
It's like nothing. And then he just runs away. He realizes that the pin was the cause of the mind control, which I guess he already knew. Peter he turns back into Spider-Man. This is fucking funny though when he blocks the cell tower with the web.
It's so.
This is the first time you really see him like shoot a traditional web that isn't for web swinging.
Yeah,
and it just makes like a sound, like it's a gross sound. And it's
so
like,
bad.
It's so fucking funny. And he webs it. He rips it in half. He rips the satellite in half.
It's like probably the most violent thing in the movie.
It's obviously like a pre-cut satellite.
But it's so funny to just like just the sound with the terrible web followed by just the fucking satellite coming down.
The Spirit Halloween web.
It's probably the funniest thing in the movie.
It might that and the wall crawling. And
those it's like no joke in the movie can beat that.
Anytime
it's so good.
Anytime he uses his powers, especially the wall crawling or the webs, it's just really funny. And he deactivated the source. I guess that was the source of the hypnotism. But does that mean that the base of operations was in the Empire State Building?
Because
that's one satellite.
Okay, so I'm pretty sure we're in we're
in the last 20 minutes.
Not
10.
Even, it's it's like the last 5 to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And I have no idea what happens from this point on.
No.
It's just so many things happen in a row.
Yeah.
And I was genuinely confused for the entire rest of the runtime.
You had to shut down your senses because violated.
It was after that satellite I was done.
So you deactivate it, and then all the citizens snap out of their trances and they walk away and they're fine. And so Spidey goes to confront Byron. The 3 bamboo guys are there, but Spidey's like, guys, come on, just let me through. It's been a long day.
Yeah, he's like, you guys aren't hypnotized anymore. You're good.
Yeah.
And then at some point he takes pictures with them.
Yes, which we will.
That's amazing. But that's in a couple minutes.
We're almost there. But yeah, so they just let him through. I don't know why they just let him through. And then Spider-Man, he's blind in the mask. Like he's just wandering around. Yeah. He can't, when that had never happened, I think it's because he's in a really dark room and I bet the eye, whatever they used for the eyes, were really shit.
Yeah, that's probably what it is.
And so he finds Byron, who he's hypnotized. Like Byron has hypnotized himself. Remember?
Yeah,
he's in a trance, and Spider-Man's
it was something with after the satellite. It seemed like it reversed it, so he got hypnotized.
You're under your own spell or whatever.
Yeah, I don't get how that worked, but I mean, whatever.
Yeah, you do you. And and so Spider-Man makes him report himself to the police, which is kind of funny.
He's like, "How about you go tell the police everything?"
Yeah. And he's like,
yeah, and he
doesn't say a word for the rest of the movie, And then, he gets arrested. And then Jonah shows up and congratulates the captain. And the captain says, "Oh, I couldn't have done it without Spider-Man." And then Jonah's like, "He's a freak!" Which he's never really said that before. He's like, he's a freak and he's a one-man army and he doesn't say he's a menace, though.
He doesn't. He just says he's a one-man army, which is a compliment.
And then, I mean, isn't that kind of mean that you're a big powerhouse?
Yeah. That means you're powerful.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
One-man army. Something wrong with that. And then Judy asks Peter. Judy shows up for she's been gone for 20 minutes.
Yeah,
but
whatever.
Judy shows up and asks Peter where he was, and he's just like, and then the captain asks him where he was, and he's just like, and then Pete doesn't have a good explanation, and the captain's like, "I'm gonna fucking jail you, you fucking bitch, if you for giving me false information."
Oh yeah, because he didn't show up.
He didn't show up. And Peter gives Jonah the pictures of Spider-Man, with the guys with the bamboo
They're
sticks.
so good.
It's so fun. I want that to be my desktop.
If any of you ever watched this movie, or like even if you don't want to watch the movie, just watch the last 5 minutes. And look for like those pictures. I love them so much. They're like so funny.
Fucking Looney Tunes, like Three Stooges pictures.
He has like 5 copies of the same exact picture.
There's no difference in those.
Yeah,
pictures.
there's no different. He just has 5 copies of the exact same picture with Spider-Man standing with the 3 guys, and he's just beating the shit out of them.
They're like posing in like a Backstreet Boys album cover pose. And okay, so Peter. He asks Peter how he got Spidey pictures, and he answers, let's say it together, I believe.
70s music.
Fucking bullshit.
Roll
70s
credits.
music kicks in, Peter and Judy walk away holding hands, and the movie is over, even though Peter just walks away giving Jonah the pictures without being paid. He isn't paid. He never got his... Oh, he did get his $46.
The lesson of the movie, you don't need $46.
You don't need $46 to make a difference. What a film! I kind of had a great time.
All right,
I kind of loved it.
Final thoughts, I guess.
Okay, so I wrote that. I'll just say that the movie is campy and ridiculous, but when you think about it, the plot's kind of intimidating of just making random New Yorkers kill themselves. But it's kind of squandered by the fact that most of them aren't killing themselves. It's a lot of comas. But so when you think about it too much, you kind of guess they definitely didn't have the means or the budget to execute this very well, obviously. But again, it's pretty much a TV pilot. There's only 4 characters from the comics, and the villains sucks. But I mean, villains now suck. It's not. It doesn't really change. But Peter, JJ, and Robbie, I think, are all pretty well represented most of the time. And they even get a bit about Spider-Man right, other than the spider sense. And for what it is, I think the costume works, other than those horrible eyes and the way the mask comes off. I would say this movie is never boring, though. It's never dull, I don't think. There's never a moment where I'm like, all right, get on with it. Maybe a little bit towards the end.
Yeah.
When you're getting to the bit with the police bust the guys on the boat. The fighting, wall crawling, and web swinging is fucking hilarious. So... And I think if you're a fan of Spider-Man or just really weird campy stuff, I think you should check it out. It's not that long, and it's on YouTube. I think that I don't know. It doesn't take too much of your time, and if you want to see it, I think it's fine to see.
I think the movie don't go into this thinking that it's gonna be an actual good movie. Don't take this seriously.
No,
it is. As long as you know that this is gonna be something completely ridiculous and that you're going to laugh at it and that there's a lot of things wrong with it, it's a really good time to watch.
Absolutely.
I wouldn't say that it's really a good movie, but I love it.
Yeah, I think
it's not a good movie for what it is. It's a good movie. It's like The Room.
Yeah,
it's a good movie because of how bad it is.
Yeah, but it's not The Room levels bad.
Yeah, it's not The Room levels bad, but
definitely,
it's the same kind of movie where it's good because it's a bad movie.
It's definitely a get a couple friends to come over and watch.
Yeah,
and make fun of it movie.
Yeah, if you watch it with a group,
that's fun.
Yeah, it's definitely gonna be a fun time.
It's a fun time, for sure.
It's pretty short. There's always something happening. There's always something to make fun of.
Yeah, exactly. There's not even the moments that go on a little long. There's always something funny in them that you can make fun of.
There's never a moment where there's something that you can't make fun of.
No.
There's always at least one thing that you can laugh at because it's just the budget is it's not great.
No, it's not.
Nothing about the movie is very great.
Yeah.
Any scene with Peter Parker as Spider-Man, in the suit, it's gonna be funny.
That's the best
anything
stuff.
having to do with Spider-Man, just in general, that is the best part of the movie. And I'm so glad that that's how it is.
Yeah, on the worst kind of bad, because we've watched a lot of bad movies.
Yeah.
But the worst kind of bad is boring bad. This is not boring.
This is the most entertaining.
This is
I love when there's movies like this where it's bad, but it's really, really entertaining, so you don't really care that it's bad.
Exactly. It's totally a guilty pleasure, but, like, it's a guilty pleasure that, it never lets up with being ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's always giving you the good shit that you want and out of this kind of movie.
As a movie, it's doing its job. It's entertaining.
It is.
It's funny.
And honestly, for 1977, this wouldn't be that bad.
Yeah, it's not too bad.
I expected it to be a lot more incoherent and worse. There's some editing issues, obviously. There's some weird dubbing in parts, and the effects are weird, but all of that stuff makes it fucking hilarious.
Yeah, it's a good bad movie.
It's a great bad movie. It's a good turn your brain off and just shoot the shit movie. It's a lot of fun, and you guys should watch it. I mean, you don't have to watch it, but if that's your thing.
I think if you like superhero movies, if you're just a fan of Spider-Man in general, if you can get a group of friends together, then it's a good movie it's free.
Yeah,
it's on YouTube.
It's free. It's not very long.
And yeah, it's not very long. If you want to have like a movie night, put that on to start. And it's a good movie to like, if you want to have like a good time, start that movie, watch it through, go on to some other movies. It's a good starting movie.
It kind of makes me interested to watch the show. Because I bet the show's just more than... And honestly...
It's probably just as bad.
It probably is. It's just as funny. And I bet... I mean, maybe eventually we definitely won't do these in order, because I mean, that would mean the next 2 episodes would be that. But if at some point we're going through a lull where we have to watch a lot of bad movies for the show, maybe we'll watch one of the other Spider-Man movies again, because we know that those are going to be fun.
There's no doubt that it would be a good time.
Because
they're just so bad.
They're so bad, but not like insultingly bad or like where it disparages the character. Like, it's not like Batman and Robin. It's just like, it's probably more like Howard the Duck than Batman and Robin, which fuck, we're gonna be getting to that one soon.
Yeah, that's
coming up. But,
oh boy.
Oh god. Oh golly.
If you could give the movie a rating, what would you give it?
Well,
like out of 10.
I feel like we're gonna be doing a lot of episodes of the show, so should we have a fun rating system? Should we try to come up with something fun?
If you can think of something, then sure.
How many bamboo sticks would you give this out of 10?
I'll say like 7 1/4 out of 10.
Yeah, I agree. 7
1/4 bamboo sticks.
7 1/4 bamboo sticks. I think so too. 7 1/4.
I give this one 7 bamboo sticks and some $2 spider webs.
I think that we should. I give this $46 out of 100. I think we should.
There you go.
I think for movies that we talk about in the future, we should still rank them out of bamboo sticks.
Yeah.
But all right, well, guys, thank you. Next week we are going to be talking about Doctor Strange from 1978. I think that's going to be really funny because we're guaranteed a lot of 70s magic effects.
Yeah, and we've already seen some pretty rough effects in this one.
Yeah,
so
it's gonna be
on one
rough.
that relies on effects. It'll be an interesting time.
Oh my god, I've seen the costume. It's hilarious.
I have not seen anything.
I have the Shout Factory DVD over there.
Oh, no.
The newest version. So let's see if it's HD restored. We'll see.
I doubt it.
I doubt it too. But oh man. Well, yeah. So now we're just gonna plug, I guess. Please, share and review this on iTunes. Come back next Tuesday for our Doctor Strange episode. Sorry, that doesn't make any sense. Don't share this on iTunes. Share this on social media and tell other nerds about it, please. And review us on iTunes, but only if you're gonna give us 5 stars. We don't want like 1-star ratings. We'd rather have nothing.
Don't be an asshole about it.
Don't be an asshole.
Unless it's constructive.
We watch these movies for you. Oh yeah, you can be a constructive asshole, but I mean, be a constructive asshole who gives us 5 stars. Okay, you can find me on Instagram at FlippedEgg and on Twitter at FlippedEgg, but instead of an E, it's a 3 in front of egg. An egg.
Why?
Because I couldn't get Flipped Egg. Because I had a Twitter account called Flipped Egg and I got logged out of it and I can't find it, so I had to make a new one. And
that's rough.
You can find the show on Twitter and Instagram at Marvel Movie Pod, and you can email us at marvelmoviepod@gmail.com.
I don't got nothing to plug. I'm good.
Got nothing to plug? You're not going to plug your Insta?
Nope.
Nope.
I'm good.
All right, we're out of here.
Yeah.
Goodbye.
Thank you for watching.